Hi guys, so I just wanted to check in with you on the past two practice problems. So let's solve the first one. 4x squared plus 7x minus 17 equals 3x squared plus 12x minus 3. So we need to get these equal to 0, and I always like to make sure that my a value is going to be positive, so I'm going to move my positive 3x squared by subtracting 3x squared from the right side, and what I do to the right side, I'm doing to the left side. So I have x squared plus 7x minus 17 equals 12x minus 3. Now I'm going to move my positive 12x. So I'm going to subtract 12x from both sides. So I'm going to subtract my 12x here, subtract 12x, and I have x squared minus 5x minus 17 equals negative 3. We're so close. I need to add 3 to both sides. So now I have x squared minus 5x minus 14 equals 0. Now we need to factor. So do I have a GCF? No. How many terms do I have? 3. Does a equal 1? Yes. So we are playing X games. All right, so I need numbers that multiply to negative 14 and add to negative 5. And those numbers are negative 7 and positive 2. Negative 7 plus 2 is negative 5. So I have x minus 7 times x plus 2 equals 0. And from here, this is where I need to set each of these factors equal to 0 and solve. So I have x minus 7 equals 0 and x plus 2 equals 0. I'm adding 7 here, so x equals 7. We're going to subtract 2, and I have x equals negative 2. So my solutions in the fancy brackets are negative 2 and 7, and I just like to write them in number order. So there you go. That's where this parabola will cross the x-axis. Now let's look at our second problem here, which said 4x squared minus 16 equals 62x minus 4x squared. Right off the bat, it looks like my 4x squared and my negative 4x squared are going to cancel out, but they're not because they're not on the same side of the equal sign. Remember, we need to move our values so that all of my x squareds are on the same side. So I'm adding 4x squared to both sides. That cancels over here, and I have 8x squared minus 16 equals 62x. Now I need to get rid of this 62x, so I'm going to subtract 62x. Well, I can't subtract an x from an x squared, and I can't subtract an x from a 16, so I'm just going to have minus 62x right there in the middle. And because we like our quadratics written in standard form, remember highest degree to lowest, I put my x in the middle. So x squared minus 62x minus 16. Now we need to factor. So our factoring progression always starts with, do I have a GCF? And in this case, I do have a GCF. My GCF is a 2, so I'm going to factor out a 2. So I have 4x squared minus 31x minus 8 equals 0. And I just divided each of these original numbers by 2 to get the inside. Now remember, this 2 means nothing to me. Absolutely nothing to me. So from here, now we just only factor what's inside. So we've already gotten rid of a GCF. How many terms do we have? 3 terms. Does a equal 1? No. So we are using my feet don't stink here, which means I need to multiply 4 times negative 8, and I get negative 32, and I need those to add to negative 31. So what multiplies to negative 32 and adds to negative 31? Negative 32 and a positive 1. So we did our multiplying, we found our factors. So I have, x minus 32 and x plus 1. Now I've got to divide. And remember, we are dividing by a. That 2 is not the a. The a is the number that's in front of the x squared. So we are dividing by 4 here. Okay. Once I divide, now I'm going to simplify, which means reduce any fractions, divide. We got to ninja kick things to the front. So I have x minus 32 divided by 4. Yes, that works. So I get 8. Now I have x plus, can I divide 1 by 4? No. So I'm ninja kicking this 4 up. So I have 4x plus 1. I'm going to drop this 2 down because now my quadratic is factored completely, and now we need to set each factor equal to 0. And here, can 2 equal 0? No, there's no x. We don't need to set that one equal to 0, but you can. Just make sure you put the line through it. 2 does not equal 0. X minus 8 equals 0. 4x plus 1 equals 0. And now I'm going to add 8 to both sides. Add 8. Here, let me move this out of the way. So I'm adding 8 to both. So I have x equals 8. And then here I'm subtracting 1. And I have 4x equals negative 1. Divide by 4. Divide by 4. And I have x equals, this is going to be a whole, okay. So I have x equals negative 1/4. So my solutions are x equals negative 1/4 and 8. And because this 2 can't equal 0, it doesn't go in my solution brackets. Okay, remember your parabola at most is going to cross the x-axis twice. Okay, and in this case, this is where it crosses the x-axis. On the next slide, let us know like how you did. Did you get them both right? Did you get one right? Did you get none right? That's okay. Just let us know.